Hello everyone, welcome back to Angela's Craft Room. Today I've got this fun gatefold card for you. I thought I haven't done a more than one fold card for quite a while, so I thought I'd just do this really easy gatefold card that you could try yourself. Okay, so the stamp set I'm using is from Saleabrations 2018, which is Epic Saleabrations, which is a fabulous one for those mail cards. So that's the stamp set we're using, Epic Saleabrations, and that's the cards. So I'll give you the measurements first. So to start with, we need a piece. I'm going with Early Espresso this time. So we need a piece that is 7 1/4 inches long and 4 3/4 inches wide, and then I've scored that at 4 3/4 of an inch as well. So then I'm just going to give that a really good score. It's really important on these more than one fold cards that you do nice crisp folds. And then my other piece of Early Espresso is 7 1/2 inches long by 3 3/4 of an inch wide, and then I've scored it at 3 3/4 of an inch, which is literally halfway, and I'm just going to crease those folds with my bone folder. So then we've got that. Now the DSP you need 2 pieces of 3 1/2 inch by 3 1/2 inch. Then you will need a piece for inside your card, which I'm going with Whisper White, with 3 1/2 inches by 3 1/2 inches. And then you need a piece of DSP which is 4 1/2 inches by 4 1/2 inches. And then you need 2 more pieces of DSP which is 4 1/2 inches long by 2 1/4 inches wide. And then just on the front of your card here, I use craft cardstock with the original one, but I'm using Whisper White this time. This little piece here, it is just 3 inches by 3 inches. Okay, so what we're going to do first is I'm going to adhere the DSP. So on this piece you can see it fits exactly. That is on the piece that was your Early Espresso was 7 1/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches, and we scored it at 4 3/4 inches. So this is just the piece that fits inside there. So we're just going to, you don't really need to put too much glue on the DSP, so just try and eyeball it, and you're just going to, this DSP is called Coffee Break, and it goes really well with the Early Espresso. It really brings out the Early Espresso. And that's your 4 1/2 inch by 4 1/2 inch. Now we're going to glue our 4 1/2 by 2 1/4, one on the inside and one on the outside. So when I do this card, I like to just get all my DSP glued down first. So just try and have it level with the piece in the center there at the top. And then if you don't have too much glue on, it's not going to come oozing out at you. So that's the inside, and then we need to glue another piece on the outside. It's a very easy card to make, but it's good like to give a card that's just a bit different sometimes. And I know I haven't been doing many more than one fold cards. It's just how it goes sometimes. So we're going to, I'm just lining it up with the piece, this piece here. So just smooth that down, and so then you've got that piece. So we'll just put that to the side. Then we're going to bring in this piece, and we've got two pieces of DSP to put on. First one is on the front. So if you get all your pieces cut first, then you know you're not going to make a mistake, hopefully. So it's just a bit too much. So then that piece is just going to go on your front of this small piece of early espresso that we cut. That was the 7.5 by 3 3/4, and we scored it at 3 3/4, which was literally just halfway. So then we have one more piece to go in here, just inside. And these pieces I'm gluing down now, they are 3.5 by 3.5 inches. So we glued one on the front, and we're just going to glue this one on the inside. So we're just going to eyeball it and centre it. Just grab my cloth so I can get this glue off my hands. Don't want to transfer it onto my white piece of cardstock if I can help it. So now we've got to put our piece on. So I've already just stamped the little shoes. This is just the piece that goes inside, which is 3.5 by 3.5 inches. So I just stamped the shoes in Early Espresso. Now I don't like those lumps, so let's smooth that glue out a little bit. Don't want it oozing out at me. So now we're just going to pop. Just line it up with the DSP at the top, and as long as it's straight, hopefully it will all be straight. So I'm just going to close that and rub that down to help it adhere. So I think that should be all DSP. Okay, so then, so just pop that aside for one moment. Now, I did go ahead and the piece on the front I coloured already with the Stampin' Up blends just to save some time. I'm sure you didn't want to watch me colour those. So I use this Eclipse masking tape and it's fantastic. It's sticky. It's so much easier than having to use the horrible sticky notes. So I've just stamped the shoes on there and I'm just going to, this is my mask for my shoes. So I'm just going to trim round the laces, and it doesn't have to be fantastically perfect. We just want it to cover the shoes because we're going to put some soft sky as our background. So just cutting in at those laces. So just try not to cut right on the line, if you know, just outside, so you've got a little bit of white masking tape showing. But this is called Eclipse masking tape and it comes in a roll and you just cut it off as you need it, and I just love it. I use it so much, and you'll see when I put it over the coloured shoes it's so much better. Just cut a bit off, bigger piece there to try and manoeuvre. So you can see how easy it is. All I did was stamp the shoes on. It's even stuck to my desk. Just one little piece that I did cut out, but it's just not coming away. That will do anyway. So then that is my mask and it's sticky on the back, okay? So I'm going to just stick that right over my shoes and then just stick it down, and now that is masked over my already coloured image. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the hardwood background stamp, and I'm going to ink that up with Soft Sky. So I'm not worried about really doing out near the edges because it's only a small piece of, it's more in the centre that we want to do it. I was going to do this off camera and I thought, no, I'll just show you how I did it. So hopefully that's inked up enough. And then remember I've got my mask on. And I'm just going to put that on top of there. Then what I do is just take a normal piece of photocopying paper, place it on top and just rub it. On my original card I used the burlap background stamp, which was really effective as well. This is the hardwood one. So when you take that off, all the excess is on the photocopying paper. And then we just need to lift this off and remove that stamp over there. So then we've just got our shoes, but that's the mask. So we're just going to lift the mask off. And look how awesome that looks. I just love this stuff. I just love it. You know, you could just do the background stamp first and then do it on top, but I just think that doing it this way, it makes the shoes pop a little bit. So what I want to do now is pop my shoes on there, and I'm just going to use the liquid glue for that, Tombow. Like that, and we're just going to eyeball it once again. So that's pretty good. Let's go up the sides. So this month and last month I've really concentrated on the celebration stamp sets and the occasion stamp sets for the tutorial, so I hope that's been helpful for you. Now we need to put our card together. So on the back of this piece, I'm going to grab some tear and tape, because this has to be really secure and it's sticking down literally another card inside another card, so it's quite thick. So I wouldn't do it with the multi-purpose liquid glue. You just have to be as precise as you can when you're sticking down this piece inside the other card. So then I'm just going to remove those. Then just this, yeah, that one's finished, I knew it. So lucky I was prepared, I had one ready to go. So we just want going the other way, and another piece going down there, at least on the sides, but I will put a piece in the middle as well, because I do not want this, I want this to be really secure. So like that. So we've just got to remove these and put this inside our card, and then we've just got to do the sentiment. So I hope you give this card a try, because it is just something a bit different. Once you've got the measurements, it's quite easy. Okay, so I'm just going to close that as if it's another card. I'm going to bring this one across, and we want to stick it down in this the big piece here. Now, once it goes down, there's no bringing it back up because it's tearing tape. So, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so then we've got our card opening like that, plenty of room to write in. Be a great invitation card, wouldn't it? Now, I stamped on a piece of Whisper White the sentiment. It's "Here's to an epic celebration," with my new 1 3/8 of an inch scallop punch, and then on 1.5 inch circle punch I punched out a piece of early espresso. So then I just want to pop the white bit onto the piece of early espresso. And then we're going to just pop that in the middle of the early espresso, and then a few more. Let's probably put 4 on this one. It's a little bit bigger. And then let's press that down. Get those backings off. So then I'm just going to pop it on this side this time. And there we're finished. Here's to an epic celebration. So the first card I did was this one, and as I said, for the background, when I masked it, I used the burlap background stamp, and that's on craft cardstock. And then on this one we used the hardwood background stamp, just on Whisper White. So they're really fun little cards to make. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, happy crafting!